So hello and welcome to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club to Qualifier race number 2. My name's Matt Payne. I'm here for the men's race. I'll be joined by Emma Martin very shortly. As soon as the women's race is done, I've had the pleasure of watching two amazing women's races so far today on International Women's Day. The first was Strada Bianchi. Watch it. Amazing, amazing race to the finish. But don't do that until you've watched at least the women's race and the men's race here on MyWhoosh on the Sunday Race Club. The women's race started amazing. I can't wait to watch the rest of that. But first, I'm going to have to bring you all of the action that comes in our men's race here today as well. We've got big shoes to fill, that's for sure. We're going to be filling them in Australia on the outer loop. The 55-kilometre course comprising of 838 metres of ascent across its totality comprises of 3 sprints and 2 climbs today, so 3 chances to take the checkpoint prize in the sprint for each of our race categories. 2 chances to take away the climb checkpoint prizes in that climbs competition, the Wollongong climb, which summits at 11.2 kilometres, and then the Canberra climb, which summits at 36.5k into this race. We also, of course, have the overall sprint skin suit and the overall classification, the sprint in each category and the climbs competition in each category, as well, of course, as our race finish at that 55-kilometre mark, which means that the top 10 riders will be looking to take away prizes there. They have to deal with a real mix of headwind and crosswind everywhere, pretty much, apart from the Canberra climb, which is predominantly tailwind or a side wind today. So a very positive place to race is the Canberra climb, and it could well instigate a breakaway if it hasn't already been sprung, because at 25 kilometres we have the rise out from below sea level back up. And that is a real nice springboard into the Canberra climb if somebody is feeling like they can break away on the way through. The run to the finish, there's a block headwind just before you come to our finish, and that is going to be really, really tough for our riders as they make the way in to the finish here on the outer loop in Australia. Very tough conditions for all of the men's riders across all 6 race categories on the outer loop course. Let's see who can take this. Will it be a rider who has got the ability to just suffer with the climbers and then go hard? Are we going to see small breakaways go? Will we see 1 or 2 riders maybe just break clear of the groups? It's a very interesting course, and it suits pretty much every type of rider so long as they can get over the climbs. Category 6 will go first, followed by categories 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Category 6, our standard race category, moving up, improving ability until we get to our category 1, which are our elite riders. They are the very top of the tree when it comes to the races. They are the riders who have proven that they have the power and the speed to be right the world's very best. Category 6 going first, our standard race category, full of some real superstars today. Race entry of 80 riders with 7 teams represented here today. You can see them on your screens. Last week, it was the BMC 6 squad who took victory from Cycling District, who was second, with Level Carbon in third and Ride Club Finland in fourth. Who will be our top team today, taking away the bragging rights? Who will take the win in Category 6? They've started. Let's see how they finish. It's the first set of riders. The purple jerseys of Category 6 lead the pen. 80 riders on the start sheets, as I said. The team compositions with 4 teams of 5 riders and 3 teams of 4. No teams with 3 riders, which is the minimum required today. And team assistance on some of these flatter sections, particularly on this early stage where there's a lot of headwind, may well come into play to bring riders back in if they get distanced. If you're new to MyWhoosh, welcome. It's good to have you along. It's definitely going to be an interesting, hopefully, hour or so racing for the elites, a little bit longer for the riders in categories 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. As these riders head out on course, the riders represented by an avatar, each of these avatars powered by the rider, so a measure of their power is taken. And there are certain minimum standards that the rider's equipment needs to meet, which is set out on mywhoosh.com, and our riders have to make sure they match that. One rider who's going to be very happy today is Wojciech Sebsa. Hopefully he's going to be feeling inspired today. Now, I'm not going to give any spoilers on today's racing on the road. out there in Strada Bianchi. All I can say is watch the women's race and then watch the men's, because they are very, very interesting races indeed. There's been some fantastic racing, some really interesting results in there. But Vegetative if you're watching your screens carefully, will be a very happy man today, one way or another. One man who's going to be looking to be happy is the man who's wearing his MyWhoosh Championship jersey, Xavier Maillard. The jerseys and a real bag of goodie bags of fantastic kit going out to all of the riders who competed in the MyWhoosh Championship. Xavier Maillard coming to our attention in 2023 and in 2025 in that championship. We will see whether or not he is at the fore. If we have another championship in 2026, am I going to tell you if that's going to happen? No, of course I'm not. I don't know. Is a straightforward answer to that. I've got my fingers and toes crossed at the moment. It happens because it's one of the best events out there. And we'll hopefully see our riders in action on that now. And not everybody has a great day at the office. Osmar Vaz from Brazil here, just ticking those pedals around, clearly not happy with that ride. Fortunately, the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club is available each and every Sunday, funnily enough, on a Sunday, all the way through the year, 52 Sundays in the year. We don't stop for anything, not for birthdays, Christmas. We don't stop for Ramadan, although we do change the time, and that is why we're coming to you at the time we are. We have done so for the finals of February for the qualifier number 1. This is qualifier number 2 in March, and we will do so next week as well in qualifier number 3, the 15th of March. And it does mean that hopefully everybody has managed to fuel up and got food on board before they go into their racing. We don't want to see anybody underfueled when you're racing. Underfueling is a really bad thing to do. It basically will degrade your performance and your health immediately. If you overfuel, basically, the effects are generally long-term. You have to do it a lot and get it wrong a lot for it to have negative effects, overfueling. So overfueling is always better than underfueling, and hopefully everybody's fueled up, ready to race today. Going to expend a lot of calories out there, out and racing. And correct fueling is absolutely key, whether you are category 6 or category 1. There's some great nutrition out there, some great nutritionists out there as well. So make sure you avail yourselves of those. Don't forget, of course, if you want to get training to race, you can jump on board MyWhoosh. You can download it on iOS, on Android, or on Windows. You can get that on your computer, on your iPhone, on your tablet, whatever you want to race on. And of course, you can get some great workouts on there. A good friend of mine just said to me he's actually going to be out and riding tomorrow with me. He's a real fan. He came back into riding, and he's been racing on the Cycling Esports League. So a great way to get into. His ambition is to ride the Sunday Race Club, and we'll see if that's going to happen. Not quite sure which category it's sitting at the moment. Probably category 6, to be fair. But he's been doing the workouts to improve. He's been doing a few of the zombie chase as well. And it's a real great way to keep motivated and really improve your riding to the point where you can race. And he's now racing in the Cycling Esports League. So really looking forward to getting some feedback from him as we ride outdoors tomorrow to a cafe for cake. Fueling, obviously, for the ride. This group away a number of riders' distance. You can see that top right-hand side of your screen, because each of those purple discs on the radar represent a rider. You can see they're all piled on top of each other at the front of this race. In the center of that radar view, a number of riders just distance behind. The course profile is the red line that runs from the right to the left of the rider's position, indicated by the yellow vertical line. And it means that they're just coming up towards the summit of this rise before they dip down. There's another little kicker again. Currently at 3.4k, with our first sprint coming at 4.8 kilometers. We'll see if Diego Schwantz, one of our riders from Brazil, will be up there. So bom dias to Diego. I hope he's all ready to sprint when we get into that point. If he's looking to go through the checkpoint first, just taking a little bit of a break there, just easing off on the power. Just got a little bit of sliding room because this is a big bunch of riders at the moment. Up and on to the route as they make their way in towards that checkpoint. You've got a little bit of room now, just taking that little bit of a break, just letting your legs just ease off and relax just for a moment, really can just reinvigorate them as well. So a really key little tactic to use. What you've got to do, though, is not drop too far out the back of the group. At the moment, this group is still over 40 riders in the pack at the very front of this race, but it's being stretched by the terrain. It's being stretched by the power being put down on the front of the group. Behind the riders hiding and staying out of the wind as much as possible. That wind blowing, as you can see on the top right-hand side of your screen, from the right-hand side of the riders. So the riders right, our left as we look at it at the moment, the best place to be is the direction the arrow is pointing in. Then you can hide out of the way, so staying out of the way. One rider who's experienced of that, Roger Teron, one of our regular riders in category 6, nicely tucked into this group. So we take the right-hand turn, lining up for the sprint, 300 meters to go, 4.8k, that green arch. Here we go, big kick coming out here. Antti Järvinen has absolutely thrown the gauntlet down. He's thrown it down so hard, nobody can respond here. Well, that's a slap in the face of everybody else behind him. Antti Järvinen, superb acceleration. The Finnish rider finished in style there. He went over the line, got the checkpoint. He wears the green skin suit because he's just taken 5 points at the front of the race. Järvinen from Zacek, from Kleps, German, and Kusi scoring 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 points respectively. 41 riders in that group going over that line together. And now Järvinen, as you can see, just easing off the pedals as the pack comes swarming past on his right-hand side. It means he's got the advantage of that draft. If he can pick it up, you can see the numbers just going to green in terms of watts, but having to put down nearly 500 watts just to stay on the back of this group. You go for the sprint, you come out of the sprint, and you're onto this rise. And as you can see, it continues on upwards. It's a bit of a drag here. Järvinen with the pain cave, the lights already flashing. Rumours that the pain cave is powered by the sheer wattage kicked out by Antti Järvinen in his sprints are potentially true. We'll have to have that confirmed at some point, but I have to say, great job already, sir. That's the first points in the bag. Can he hold on to that green skin suit as our sprint leader to the finish? You'll have to stick with us to find out right the way to the end. And don't forget, of course, you can get all of the results not only on MyWhoosh.com, which is the official results page. You just go to results on the menu, but you can also get them on MyWhooshinfo.com as well once they're verified. So Category 6 well underway through our first sprint. Category 5 in the pens waiting to go. Our teams here today, 5 teams with 1 team of 5 representing our riders. That's the Cycling District 5A squad. We've also got the Cycling District 5B squad with 4 riders. So 9 riders from Cycling District in total. A big squad here today from them, up against level 5 and level raiders and the BMC Rule 5 squad. The level raiders were our team winners last week. Tishano, Bertrand, and Dromard, the riders represented them. We've got all 3 riders here, as well as Nikola Savic in the level raiders squad. So can they repeat the win from last week in qualifier number 1? Remember, it's bragging rights, it's practice when we're racing in our qualifiers. Come the finals, top 7 teams taking away prizes. Let's see who gets the bragging rights today in the teams competition. Who will take away our prizes in that individual race overall at the finishing line. 10 riders in each race category taking prizes, as well as those checkpoint prizes and the sprint and the climb competition prize overall. In with Ibrahim at the moment, right in the front of this group, nicely tucked in there. That's nice positioning. Fossier is in here, definitely a rider to watch when we come into those sprints. Marius Fossier, definitely a rider to keep an eye on. He's got a really big kick on him, but he's up against some really strong competition in this category. Last week, our sprints winner was Joel Warren from Kettering. And last note in 3rd place, Warren scoring 10 points last time around. So Warren expected to figure if it comes to any kind of sprint, the whole of the Warren family with big kicks, but lots of riders moving position in each of our race categories on the way through, and that's going to be very, very telling as we move up into category 4. At the moment, category 5 already breaking apart. You can see that top right hand side of your screen with those discs just being split apart. Going to dive in with Junior Silver, one of our regular riders on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. I'm loving the assortment of helmets on the wall there. It's a real mix, actually, because we've got everything from motorbike helmets to safety helmet with ear defenders there, right the way through to the bike helmet as well. Real mix, actually. Not thought of doing that. Inspiration from the Pain Cave from Junior Silver. Now, Junior Silver, a rider who definitely watch out for, not just in the sprint competition, but also when it comes into the finale. Definitely a rider who can get the power down. Daniel Dotto, the Brazilian, definitely a rider to watch when we go on to the climb. Always in the mix on the sprint. You can see great positioning here. Nicely tucked into the group. 3 chevrons at the top in green, indicating that the power is expended, needs to keep him in that position, and it's not being wasted out in the breeze, which is what's happening on the front, because a couple of our riders looking to stretch this out at the moment on the very front of the race here. So as this group comes around the right-hand bend, I think they're going to pull one of the riders into the fold, but one rider still clear on the front, and this pressure on the front is breaking the group behind as well, so damage being done behind Kedrion, the rider who took second in the sprint competition, already winding this up, looking to go on the breakaway here. Nobody's gone with him. It's a long way to go to 4.8k, further 3,000 meters to go, but 6 seconds a gap. This is a good move. The Frenchman on the move at the moment. What can he do? Can he take it all the way to that sprint line? That would be very impressive indeed. Surely the odds are against him, but the gap is growing. 7 seconds now to the group behind, to those chasers behind at the moment. Category 4, wait in the pens. Category 5, lone leader breaking clear. Category 6, as they came through our last checkpoint, 45 riders in total at the front of the race, with 22 seconds separating them from one rider. It's literally rider after rider. It's dot to dot behind our main pack at the moment in category 6. Category 5, they're pretty much everybody together at the moment in that leading group. 1s and 2s being shelled out the back, and the exception is our rider down the road. 3 of our key riders on the screens on your left. Emil Ivanov on the bottom left-hand side of your screen. Junior Silva and Daniel Dotto, center and top of the screen. As we come into the junction, we're going to take that right-hand turn. We're at 2.6k, still some distance to go till we get to our sprint, and it means we can get our Category 4 riders underway. The Category 4 riders just waiting very patiently in the pens. The team competition, always an interesting mix. 6 teams taking to race start, 4 teams of 5 here today, 2 teams of 4. Ride Club Finland took the win last week from Cycling District. They had an 11.49 second gap between themselves from Finland, from Cycling District. Behind them, then it was 4 minutes 29 to Level Golden 4, who took 3rd place. BMC Racing 4, who took 4th in the team competition, but it was Finland who took it. Pipponen, Tuomi, Rustimaka, and Tuiki, the riders who were at the front of the race. Total race time for the 3 fastest riders, 3 hours, 57 minutes, 2.789 seconds. So Category 4 out of the pens, quick kick out and away. At the moment, just seeing Johan Moreno, always one of our real fast starters. Moreno, definitely a rider to keep an eye on as these riders head out on to the, of course, the Colombian. Nicely in this pack, getting a good kick, really, really critical. Now, Category 4, lots of real contenders in this race. if I told you who to watch, basically it'd be pretty much the entire race field. It's really close racing in Category 4. We're in with Eben Schwartz, definitely a rider who can climb, but he can also sprint. A real all-round rider. In fact, he's on the bottom left-hand side of our screen at the moment. Henry East, also another of our riders from South Africa. Definitely more of a climber than sprinter. Henry, but again, another good all-round rider. Very experienced rider here on MyWhoosh. At top of your screen, Mohammed Mukhtari, who's in that pack as well. And again, Mohammed, definitely a rider to watch today. A mixed course definitely suiting him as well. And the big flag in the background, that Turkish flag in the background behind him. You can see three very different pain caves for our riders at the moment. We'll see which of these riders is going to be up towards the front. Who's going to be taking away those prizes in Category 4? Will it be any of our three featured riders on your screens at the moment? You couldn't discount any one of those three. As they come around this turn, that gradient just hovering around about that 1% mark. So it starts to diminish. Just see that group just probably starting to reform and rebunch as it goes into that plateau section at the top of this climb. It's only a little bit of a climb up, but every little bit counts. And there's a number of riders just struggling to hold the pace here. So if this front of the group pushes on, they may well have eliminated one or two more riders out of the back. And that is really, really key here. You want to be distancing riders behind as you continue to push at the front of the race. And this group continuing to do so. 1.5 kilometers covered for Category 4. Category 5 much further up the road. They are just going through the sprint, in fact. So let's bring you the results from the sprint. Category 5, I hope you're sitting down for this. 93 riders went through the sprint together. 93 riders went through the sprint together. They had 32 seconds on the next nearest rider, and the riders were in ones and twos behind. I'm just going to do a double check on those numbers because I don't think that could be right. It's 48. That's more like it. I was adding Category 6 and Category 5 together. 48 riders through the sprint together. One rider behind, 21 seconds down. Navarro taking the sprint in Category 5 from Jonathan Grenier in second place. Marius Fossier in third. Roman Mazzaros in fourth. And Finley Reddington taking fifth spot. They scored 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 points in the sprint competition at that first sprint, City Beach sprint, in Category 5. So Category 6 and 5 through the first of our sprints. In our teams, well, you can see that in Category 3, two teams here today. BMC Racing up here along with the Cycling District Alpha squad. And Category 3 teams, Compact and Bijou today. BMC Racing up, the three riders, Hertz, Bloom and Stewart. The 5 riders for Cycling District Alpha, Gomez de Almeida, along with Moretti de Souza, Konetski, along with Tapia and Andrade. 5 riders for Cycling District Alpha. Will they be the team at the front? A number of other teams without the requisite 3 or more riders in there. It is Black Horses, Level Racing, Peak Power Racing, Pedal Club, Reichel Finland, Sandstorm, and What's Up. But they need to have 3 to count as a team when it comes to our finals, and that is exactly what we require our riders to do coming in and through. Last week, no team in Category 3 finished 3 riders over the line, so a tough day at the office in Category 3. Category 3, though, on the final countdown. We've seen some very fast racing from the start. Will anybody be distanced before we get too far down, out and away from the bends? It's time to go racing in Category 3. Out go the riders. This big pack go underneath that UCI banner, the Union Cycliste Internationale, the governing body for cycle sport, for whom MyWhoosh is the cycling esports partner 2024, 25 and 26, and hence the World Championships there, as well as supporting a lot of the racing. You can go see the MyWhoosh stand. They've been at the classics that have already been taking place. We've just seen the launch of the Montreal course as well on MyWhoosh. As a insight and a long conversation actually with the ahead of that event, the World Road Championships in Montreal for 2026. It's going to be really exciting to see that race unfold. And of course, UAE sponsored riders going to be competing in that, as well as riders from the UAE itself in those World Championships in Montreal. And you can ride the finishing circuit. So the course, a lot of the course using different sections of the city, different race starts for the elite men's and women's race starts, but all of it centered really on what was the Grand Prix Montreal and that circuit around the park. That circuit, that finishing circuit, has already been launched on MyWhoosh, so you can ride and practice and get some training in on the same course that the world champions will be racing. I'm sure Mika Rusumaki has already had a little look at that course. If he hasn't, he will be shortly, I'm sure, because it's going to provide for some great racing on that circuit. Riders in category 4 already at 4.5 kilometers nearly covered. Remember, the sprint coming at 4.8k. The front of this group already broken up. The banner is in front. You can see, though, that it's going to be Vaiapeki Antonen who's on his way. Well, we saw a kick coming from our Finnish riders already coming in underneath in category 6. It's been repeated here in category 4 as the riders go in over the line. The first sprint done. Vaiapeki Antonen taking the top spot. He takes away 5 points. It's 4 points for Daniel Cadiz, 3 points for Andre Bombacini. It's going to be 2 points fourth place for Philip Streel. And the last point going to fifth place, Nikolai Dambulo. At the moment, the screen's just updating as to the riders having gone through. Going to get that refreshed. 62 riders in category 4 going through together. And no, I haven't added it up this time with categories 5 and 4. That is a huge group going through. So 45 riders went through the first sprint together on category 6, 48 on category 5. Category 4, though, 62 riders going through the first sprint. With category 3, the next riders to reach that point, they're currently at 1.7 kilometers covered. All of the riders out on the same race route, all of the riders contending the same sprints. First one at 4.8k, the second sprint at 13.7 kilometers, the third sprint at 47.4k. Will Che Howeiler be in at the mix when we get to 47.4? And then can he finish it off at 55k? Definitely don't bet against Che, one of our real experienced riders. Wearing the MyWhoosh jersey there, you can see that's the championship jersey just on his shoulders with the MyWhoosh logo on our right-hand side, the Che's left-hand side there. One of our riders completing that MyWhoosh Championship race. So at the moment, we have got category 6, 5, 4, and category 3 out on course. Categories 2 and category 1 await their race start. They will be the next groups of riders away. Category 1 still with 11 minutes or so to go. Category 6 with 6 minutes to go. Now in the race, we'll see who is going to be at the 4 in those categories in a short while. But at the moment, let's focus in on category 3. Now, this group is really together. There's 1 or 2 riders quite a long way back and behind our leading pack in category 3 as they make their way through. This first part of the course really tough. You've got either a side headwind or you've got a block headwind, really in your face each time. At the moment, it's blowing from the rider's right-hand side. And as you can see on this gradient of 9.7%, these riders are well and truly in to the first part of the kicker here in category 5 as they go up onto the base. This climb here, the first of our ascents, the Wollongong climb for category 5. Category 3 at the moment, the wind blowing from the right-hand side. They're a fair way out. They're 3.1k. So they've still got about 1,700 meters to go to get to that first sprint. The Wollongong climb, the first of our climbs, the Canberra climb coming as the second of our climbs. Category 6 are already over the Wollongong climb. Kozanski taking the points from Julian Tabez, followed by Brent Sensing. Then Orlando Montoya and Andre Gravescu taking 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 points respectively in category 6. One rider clear, that was Kozanski, clear of a chasing group of 11, some 20 seconds back in Category 6. So that race really splitting up in Category 6. Category 5 on the way up the climb. Category 4, the riders who we're in with at the moment. Our last check was going through the City Beach Sprint with those 62 riders together. This is still a big pack that Mohamed Mukhtari is in at the moment. Good to see Mohamed this morning, or this afternoon, or this evening. I think it's going to be technically this evening in Turkey at the moment. Usually know the time gap to Turkey. Turkey hosting the European Championships. He says confidently, maybe the World Championships in the mountain bike. It's the European Championships this year in the mountain bike eliminator in Sakarya, along with around the World Cup. So definitely somewhere to keep an eye on. One rider who you never know may be there is Ivo Sure out of the saddle here in Category 3. I think it'll be interesting to see how he goes on the course here today. Just coming around that right-hand turn, the wind just going towards a headwind here. This race really, really pushing at the moment. 4.3k, 4.4 into the right-hand turn, and then we line up for that sprint banner. The front of this race really starting to fracture. You can see it's strung out. There are riders in ones and twos. The gap has opened up, and this is where it's not only critical about who is going for the sprint, but who then can push through that and out the other side, because if they keep on pushing here, they could break this up. It's a headwind at the moment as they come in through that sprint in Category 3. Now, riders make their way through. Patrick Karlstrom taking away the win. He pulls on the green skin suit. He took that from Florian Heimbucher in second place. Walter Clays in third. Giacomo Notari in fourth. John Yannicki in fifth place. But Patrick Karlstrom, good job, sir. You can see the fluffy mic protector there, just on the top right-hand side. I can do my mic geeking out bit here at the moment. Patrick Karlstrom in person with the blue and black vest on the bike with the green skin suit. Our rider leading the sprint competition. First sprint done and dusted. 3 sprints today. Now Patrick has to get himself over that climb of the Wollongong climb, 2.5 kilometers or short of, coming in for the first climb. The second climb, 5.3k, and a whole lot more meters of ascent, 400 meters of ascent on our second climb. The first climb having 133 meters of ascent. But these two climbs interspersed with a whole lot of bumpy terrain on the way from the start line to the first climb and then into the second of our climbs. It does ease off a little bit once you go over the far side, with the Melbourne Sprint breaking things up at 47.4 kilometres. But that's a long way ahead. It's not long before we're going to be focusing back in on the start with 2 more race categories to go. Category 2, our penultimate race category, and then Category 1, the cream of the crop. Our elite riders will be heading out on to race route. They'll be chasing Category 3, 4, 5, and 6 out there. Category 2, always a fearsome category. They give them 10 minutes away to Category 3. That doesn't mean they won't necessarily catch them if they put their foot down today. Now, let's see, can any of our teams finish the prerequisite number of riders? The Hitmen are here with 4 riders today. Phil Graves, the most experienced rider on the platform. And in terms of Sunday race clubs, leading Lewis, Coinston and Miller. We'll see what they can do here today. Will it be another number 1 hit for them? They're up against Level Racing 2, Bakken, who's on form, Christian and King as well. Carolina, Machado, Coimbra and Torres cannot be discounted, particularly in the Sprints for Cycling District 2. And Beast Mode and friends, Mark Santos, Simon Water and Christoph Thiem, can't be bet against either. The UAE clan team have Mr. X100 and SS on the start sheets here today in the UAE Falcons with Zed Hamdan and Ahmed El Naji. Sophie's racing team with Gilberto Marquez. Riders of the Storm with Janka Plinsky. And heading out, it should be Jamie Cahill for Level Elite. On our start sheets today with just the 1 rider in their team. ABC Sports 2 have 1 rider down here today. That's Gustav Berlin. The Abu Dhabi team, they have Ivan Yuki and Bruce Bird on our start list today. Interesting to see how they go on today as the riders have left the bed and head out onto the course. I've got to say, I might have been slightly partisan in my choice of cycling kit over the last few days because I was had the privilege of going to the UCI HQ in Aigle in Switzerland for a couple of days this week, and went to the velodrome in Aigle and had to decide what kit was I going to wear. And I decided that when I was going to Aigle to the velodrome to the UCI, and I was going to be riding around in front of everybody, I'll be wearing my Abu Dhabi cycling kit there. So the Abu Dhabi Cycling Club, based on Hudaria Island. I was wearing the kit as we went around the velodrome today, inspired by their coach, Ivan Nuki, to keep pedaling smoothly all the way around. One of the real inspirational coaches that are out there. And I met a really nice coach there called Philip, actually, at the velodrome. And definitely inspired me, along with watching our brilliant riders we do here on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club each and every Sunday to get riding and make sure I get those kilometres in. Make sure you get your kilometres in. You can be joining our Category 2 riders if you are a rider who fancied taking on the race. In Category 2 last week, Teppo Lowry took the top spot from Maciej Skierski. In second place, Mikael Jajka. In third, with Jonas Bjarhed in fourth and Alexei Kalman in fifth place. Real close racing, though. The top 12 riders separated by less than 1 second, 0.829 separating the top 12 riders. To get any sizable gap, you've got to go to get. There were 24 riders within 10 seconds of the top, so it shows you just how close the racing is. 4 of our key contenders: Michele Machado, Olivier Simmons, along with Gal Jasbeck and Rick Van Erck on our screens. I knew we were going uphill because we came to Rick Van Erck on screen. I know it's something we say each and every week, but I really feel for Rick. It's definitely one of our riders that you know is going to be featured the moment it goes uphill. Always ready with a smile, though, so great to see him. Some great racing, actually, by Rick Van Erck. It's definitely a rider to watch out. Wasn't his day. 20th place for Rick last time out. Gal Jasbeck, definitely a rider to watch on today's course. I think he definitely is going to be a rider to keep an eye on. 17th for Gal last time out. Olivier Simmons last time around was a little bit further back, I think. And so we came through to the finish. He took 42nd place. Machado, the last of the riders that we've just seen on our screens. Just going to keep a little bit of a check where Machado was. Scrolling furiously.com, talk amongst yourselves whilst we find Machado. He came in. In fact, he didn't finish. There we go. Don't worry, I can't find him. Category 2 are away. You just heard the riders who are right up there at the fore, as well as seeing some of our riders in person, as well as in avatar form. Category 2 being led out at the moment by Mr. X100 on his way towards that first sprint, leading the group out currently in Australia on the outer loop with one more race field to send away. Category 1, our elite riders, the very top of our race field, waiting in those pens, the riders in Category 1, those riders who've earned the right to be called elite riders. Now, last week, the Boss Moves Only squad took race victory. The world champion Jason Osborne leading home his teammate Michael Vink in 1 and 2 on the race, ahead of Michael Nussen, their third counter in the team. He came in with the top 10 last week as well. Team Scuddy Racing last week didn't have 3 riders. They don't have 3 riders this week either. Sorry, they had 3 riders last time. They came in second, not 3 riders this week, so they won't feature. But the Alpha Jaw squad always managed to get 3 riders in. They took third last week. Ollie Jones, line over Justin Mikhail Kaminsky, 4th, 6th, and 13th place. We'll see whether or not they are going to be able to replicate those top 15 places here today. With Justin Kaminsky and Jones line up for Alpha Jaw. The world champion, Jason Osborne, is there in the rainbow-banded white jersey. It's time for our final field to go racing here on Qualifier race number 2. It's March. It's Qualifier race 2. All of our riders away from the pens. The final group out onto the roads. Quick reminder for you, 55 kilometres of racing here today. 3 sprints to contend at the 4.8, 13.7 and 47.4 kilometre mark. Between sprints 1 and 2 is the Wollongong climb, the first of our climbs to ascend the summit at 11.2 kilometres. We have between sprints 2 and 3 the ascent of the Canberra climb, the biggest of our 2 climbs here today. Canberra climb coming to a summit at 36.5 kilometres, and the total ascent 838 metres across the whole of the course. At the moment, we're heading towards sprint number 1 for category number 2, and that is the riders in the green jerseys at the moment, looking for that green skin suit. So at the moment, Mitchell Machado on his way towards the sprint nicely in this leading group at the front of category 2 at the moment. You can see just coming into this right-hand turn that lines us up. You need to go early on this sprint, but you don't want to go too early. Becker at the moment, the rider who's leading this out, kicking into the corner, taking that right-hand turn here at the moment. And it looks like Kalman is trying to come behind him. You can see the big chain of riders here. Kalman trying to get on the wheels of Becker. Has Becker gone too soon? Because Kalman's coming at 13 watts per kilo, now 14. 48 is coming at 14 as well. He's going to go over the top, or is he? They're going to come to the line. It's going to be Kalman, 48, Van Aert, Machado, and Yazbek. If my eyes don't deceive me, coming over the line, that was about timing. It looked to me like 48 had that to perfection, but Kalman takes away the jersey. He takes away the sprint win, and the time gap is 0.00 at the moment on our screens. 60 riders in category 2 coming through together. In the front of this race field, absolutely flying through here at the moment. Out on the race route, nothing separating the riders. Well, they've got plenty to separate them out on course, so let's take a quick reminder of that course profile for you. 3 sprints, the first of our sprints at 4.8k, each of those sprints indicated by the vertical green line. That's the checkpoint, and we've just seen category 2 go through the first of those green checkpoint sprints. The riders out and racing across race route with category 6 already well into our race route at the moment. They've already actually gone through the Wollongong sprint and the Wollongong climb at the moment in category 6. So the first of our climbs, which summits at 11.2k, and the second of our sprints at 13.7. Between there and the Canberra climb, don't forget we've got this dip down that comes as we go between kilometres 22 and 25. There's a little rise into it, then we dip down below sea level before we kick back out and up again. It is a trigger point for the climb of the Canberra climb. So there's not a huge distance. It's about 3 kilometres. Once you have ascended out from the low point of the course, it is possible to use that as a initial part almost of the Canberra climb to extend that distance. We'll see some riders really making that effort longer on that climb. Plenty of riders, and I'll be one of them, will be wanting it to be less distance and less steep. Some riders want to make it even harder, and we'll see who those riders are as we make our way to the top of the Canberra climb, the summit of the Canberra climb at 36.5k, and then it's that run down to the finish, passing the last sprint at Melbourne sprint at 47.4k. Ricardo Panizza on our screens at the moment. Ricardo, one of our regular riders here on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club at the moment, looking pretty concentrated as Michael Knudsen of the Boss Move Only squad goes on the front now. 5 seconds gap opened up by Knudsen. He's been on great form recently, been keeping a check. One of our riders that follow on Strava as well as on social media, and A, really nice guy. 2, really class rider. B, does some amazing riding in amazing places, and it's paying off at the moment because he's got the gap opened up on this group. Jason Osborne, his teammate, is sat in the bunch marking the moves at the moment. Quick reminder, Knudsen, Safrazadi, Osborne and Vink. They're the 4 riders that make up the Boss Moves Only squad. They ride really strongly as a squad together, and at the moment, Michael Knudsen with that gap. Now, Paul Skierski chasing down behind. Very interesting to see that move by Skierski. Definitely a rider to keep an eye on. We know how strong the Polish rider is. He's in the chase group of Paradis, Skierski, Andreasen, and Mikhail Kaminski in there as well. Countryman of Pavel Skierski. Mikhail Kaminsky riding for the Alpha Jaw squad, along with Lionel Vujasin and Ollie Jones. As this chasing group comes back together, the gap to Michael Nutten still 4 seconds, though, at the moment. So these riders really starting to feel the pressure that's keeps on being put on here. Nutten still winding this 7.6k at the moment, 4.2k covered, 7.5 watts per kilo, 7.8, 7.9 watts per kilo. Really is putting the power down here. He's not able to hold off now Pedersen, who's going to come over the top, and Pedersen will be looking for the sprint win here. Nelson was looking to shake things up. Pedersen very definitely with the green skin suit on his mind. He wants that change of wardrobe. Will he be able to get it? They're going to come up from behind towards him. Now Pedersen, left-hand side of your screen at the moment, Category 1, heading in towards the City Beach Sprint. This kick is going to be key. It's going to take now Pedersen into the green skin suit as the points winner in Category 1. The first of our riders in and through that point. Pedersen's time through there, 6 minutes 24.834 seconds. He comes through faster than the riders Knudsen, Vink, Paradines, and Skierski. They're the riders who score points in the Category 1 race. Behind him, you can see the in terms of time, Kalman, Karlstrom, Antonin, Navarro, and Järvinen, the winners of the checkpoint. But you can see the time that it's taken our riders to get there on the right-hand side. And interestingly, we're seeing another week where Category 4 are racing faster in the initial stages than Category 3. Category 4 in March, clearly, if you're a Category 4 rider in March, you've got a tough month ahead of you for Qualifier, for the rest of Qualifier 2, the rest of the racing in Qualifier 3, and in our finals in March. Because, my goodness me, there is some serious racing going on. Category 4 faster to the first checkpoint than Category 3 at that point. So, in with Category 1 at the moment on the left-hand side of your screen. Now Pedersen in that green skin suit in Category 3. At the moment, Category 2 now making the way. They're on to the Wollongong climb. The rider who was right up there in terms of the sprints, Alexei Kalman. He's wearing the green skin suit in Category 2. There in the main screen. Category 4, further down the road, that's 17.7k. Category 6, the furthest riders of all, at 25.7. You can see that they are subterranean. They are literally underneath the water, down in the tunnels on that low point, sub-sea level at that 25k. So they've got a nice big climb coming in front of them. Sorry to break it to you, chaps, but I'm sure you've all studied the course profile. Excuse me. The course profile on, of course, MyWhoosh.com for each race. You can go to the events page and download not only the technical guide, but you can check out the course for the forthcoming month as well. You can see all the prizes, all the technical regulations are available. You name it's on there. You can also go, of course, to mywhooshinfo.com for details, not just of the Sunday Race Club, but also of the Cycling Esports League. We've had some very interesting racing on the Cycling Esports League. Rounds 1 and 2, both very different races. Scratch race on the Kleisbergen course for race 1. Points race. There's some interesting tactics in that. In the race on Tromsø in round 2, the Cycling Esports League. The next one, it should be easy. It's the individual time trial. It's only 13.97 kilometers with 20 meters of ascent using the Hedera Octopus Loop, but the sadistic course designers for the Cycling Esports have decided, well, that's not going to be tough enough, so they're giving them a headwind all the way around. Anybody racing on Tuesday, you've got a headwind the whole way. Basically, it's going to be a little bit harder, so it is going to take that speed down. It will change potentially the riders that are up there, because remember, of course, when you get into a headwind, the watts and the aerodynamic profile are going to be absolutely critical. Power to weight is going to be non-existent. It's all going to be about power. It's going to be about watts. It's going to be about the speed that you can deliver compared to your aerodynamic profile. Unlike here on the climb, the first of our climbs, the Wollongong climb. I don't know how Rick Van Eyck has the energy to wave. on the climb here. And this, the first of our climb checkpoints coming at 11.2k. So less than a kilometre to go for SS, who's leading this way up here from the UAE clan team. SS, who regularly features in our climbs and sprints competition, a real puncher of a rider who can put in those kicks. The Wollongong climb, a climb the riders are very familiar with when we've done the course here previously. The Wollongong climb, using this 3 times in the men's race. This self-same ascent with the Twin Peak summit, 2-step climb on the way up. The run up to the top, absolutely critical here today. The first part of the climb, the second part coming up, you can see we're going to go into this steep final section. The gradient is going to increase. It's at 7.5% at the moment. The bunch being led by Josiah Betty. Betty looking to get some points right into his account as he goes up. Remember, the points are critical for the overall win. 2 chances to score points in the climbs competition. The first of our climbs, the 4th category Wollongong climb. The second opportunity, the category 2 Canberra climb. Canberra climb bigger, this 133 metres of ascent, being led by SS at the moment. Betty still holding onto that second place. Gorshan trying to challenge him here. Yazbek as well. We're going to take this right-hand turn. Remember, the riders here are looking for the summit to come here at the 11.2k mark. They've got this tricky little descent and then the kick up. Now, it means that the banner is not at the highest point of this course. There is this drive down, and momentum is going to be key. SS with the gap here, 12 seconds, but it's this bunch drive, and they use the momentum wisely. They have the chance to get there. They're not going to do it. SS is going to take it and go into the descent first. He goes through. He takes those points, 5 points in the bank for SS. On the Wollongong climb there, the UAE clan team are already going through in one behind him. The rest of the group led through by Josiah Betty, followed by Michaela Jakela, then Ken, followed by Runa Bakken. They are the point scorers, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 on the climb. 8 seconds the gap from SS to 22 riders left in that chasing group behind. And that does mean that the advantage is with the group behind on this descent. You can see SS backing off now to 1.9, now 1, now 0.3 watts per kilo. Interestingly, just keeping his legs turning around there. If the riders stop completely, the avatar will go into the super tuck. It's got less aerodynamic resistance, means that you can go quicker for no effort, but you've got to stop pedaling. And when you do that, you do run the risk of not being able to get your legs to kick back up to speed. A lot of riders prefer just to keep their legs turning over. Even though they lose a little bit of ground, they increase the aerodynamic drag. It does cause them the issue of that. But by turning your legs around, you're keeping those legs moving. You're maybe flushing out some of the lactic acid that accumulated on the climb. Although you're not going at full speed, you're just keeping it ticking over. Category 2, led by SS over the top of the climb, his teammate Mistakes 100, part of that 22 rider group that have just joined SS. So that is now going to be 23 riders strong. Meanwhile, Rick Van Erck mopping his brow at the moment. The glasses have come up. Always good to see, buddy. So Rick wearing the Netherlands jersey very proudly there, and quite rightly, yes. So it's great to see him in action. I tell you something, Rick always smiles when we get the camera on him. At the moment, I'm sure he's very much enjoying the classic season that we've got in action at the moment. The classics, of course, not just in the Netherlands and Belgium, they also go around the around Europe. We're currently in Strade Bianchi territory. Do watch both the men's and women's races. They're absolutely phenomenal. I've got to say, been really enjoying the classic so far. Kern Brussels Kern, along with the on-loop Nisblad race, Strade Bianchi that's just come up. And next week, it's going to be Milan San Remo. Be interesting to see what happens there. That is a race that's not been won by Tadej Pogacar, interestingly, so far. The only monument I think he hasn't yet won. Rider who is regular winner, Bert Kane, in action, sprinting against Gorjanka there. They saw the banner, but interestingly, as they go through there. They've made the way through the 13.8k. What they need to remember is they've just gone back through one of the existing banners. The riders on the way in through 13.7k. That banner, the sprint point number 2, after you descend off Wollongong, coming very quickly, 13.7k, going through that Wollongong sprint, and Bert Kane taking 5 points from 4 from Gorchank, 3 for Yazbek, 4 for Mr. X100, and 5 for Josh Power at the moment on their way through that. So Kalman at the moment with 5 points, but Kane with 5 points in that sprint competition. We've got Fournier with 4, Yazbek with 4, Gorchank with 4, Rick van Herk, who we've seen on the screens, with 3, 2 for Michel Machado and 2 for Mr. X100, and Josh Power with 1 point in that sprint competition. So at the moment, it's Kalman and Burke tied at the top, 1 point behind them, Fournier and Yazbek, and Gorchank really close in the sprint competition at the moment in Category 2. Category 1 at the moment, they are on to the Wollongong climb. The leaders already having gone over the top of the climb, or will have done very shortly, because Jason Osborne is away, so they're on the way to that climb. Jason Osborne leading them at the moment. He's got the gap to Phlebas at the moment, but that pack are 4 seconds behind. They're not going to catch Osborne here. Jason Osborne really has been making a habit of taking away the wins in the climbs competition in Category 1. They're not only looking for the overall race win, but looking to take away those checkpoint prizes. Remember, Jason Osborne, multiple-time world champion, defending that championship title in Abu Dhabi in that fantastic final that we saw live on the stage, as well as on the MyWhoosh YouTube channel. You can watch that back there as well. So, over the top of the climb, Jason Osborne with the fastest winning time in categories, 17 minutes and 9 seconds. Interestingly, getting that only 10 seconds quicker than SS in Category 2. Category 3, still slightly slower than Category 4, but only 1 second in it as they went over the top of the climb, with Adar and Ponzi in Categories 3 and 4 leading through. Roncancio taking the checkpoint prize in Category 5 and the lead in that jersey in the climbers competition. And in Category 6, Korzanski led them over the top. He did have a big gap going over the top of the first of our climbs, the Wollongong climb, but Category 6 at the moment at the 30.9k mark, just about to hit the start of the climb. You can see it rearing up in front of them. Now, Korzanski on the right-hand side in that polka dot skin suit at the moment. They're coming on to the second of our climb, the Canberra climb. Quick reminder, 5.3 kilometres of ascent, 403 meters total climbing from the point at 31.2, which is now in Category 6, right the way to the summit of this climb. Julian Tabarez, the rider who's leading out at the moment. He's got a 5-second lead on that bunch behind. At the moment, Tabarez coming in to this climb and kicking on at 4.5 watts per kilo. So whilst in the sprint, absolute watts is key. Those pure watts, the absolute power that you can put down is the most important thing. The snap, the kick, and the power. When you get onto the climb, it's watts per kilo. Diego Schwantz nicely tucked into this leading group. Good to go in with Diego once again. To go back to a rider that we featured earlier on in the show. Diego Schwantz at the moment in this leading group. Now, the Category 6 riders going through the previous sprint. The leading group was a group of 11 riders at the front of the race. And even with my very rudimentary maths, I can tell you that's more than 11 now. They've been joined, I think, by Tabares, who's gone off the front, along with the riders who were behind, some 19 seconds behind. There were 6 riders there, so 17 riders potentially together, as Jason Osborne goes through the second of our sprint points. Now, Pedersen, though, contesting that with him. Let's see who took the checkpoint. It was Jason Osborne. He took the Wollongong climb. He's also now taken the Wollongong sprint. So Osborne, Kane, Oya, Evans, Arego, and Korzanski, the riders who've taken those. Korzanski, interestingly, taking the climb and the sprint win. Osborne also doing the same. So Osborne in category 1, taking those 5 points from Michael Knudsen, who took 4. Now Pedersen, who took 3, and Michael Vick, who took 2, and 1 point for Leonard Tugels as they came in underneath the banner of the Wollongong Sprint at the 13.7 kilometre mark. And you can see at the moment, Knudsen, Osborne, and Tugels, Pedersen all hovering around about the front. It's only a few seconds really separating Knudsen and the rest of the group. But Knudsen, no doubt, thinking about does he push on? He took second place in that sprint. He scored on our first sprint. He also got a second place as well. So he's going to be on 8 points. At the moment in category 1, it's pretty much the case that in category 1 in the sprint at the overall at the moment, having gone through Wollongong sprint number 2, Pedersen has 8 points. Knudsen has 8 points. Vink and Osborne have 5 points apiece. 2 points for Paradise, 1 point for Skiski and Tugels. In category 2, in the sprint competition, Kalman and Kane are tied, then Fournier and Jasbeck, then go Jank and Van Erck. But at the moment, there's a breakaway on the front. And in fact, in that breakaway is Josh Power, the man who's our last point scorer in the sprint competition in category 2. He's in this leading group of riders, Power, Rinush, along with X100, a trio of riders clear of Betty and of SS, Jasbeck, Damsgaard, and Co. So the riders behind chasing at the moment as they make their way through the 18.6k marker. They're going to be heading down into that descent in category 2. Category 1 looks like Bjorn Andreasen is doing what Bjorn Andreasen regularly does. He's gone on the attack, looking to break away. Lionel Vijasian very aware of the move there and of our real experienced riders. One of those riders who we know is tactically astute. He's going to be in the right place at the right time. Really does maximize his positioning in that group. The category 1 leaders at the moment at the 15.6 kilometre mark. Their next checkpoint isn't until we get to the summit of the Canberra climb at 36.5k. But you can't let this leading group go. You can see the group is fractured. At the top of your screen, you'll see that we have one rider. There's one disc just approaching, directly facing the pens. You can see the category 1 riders going in this direction. The leaders of category 2 going in the opposite direction. At this stage in the racing, as category 1 take the left-hand turn. Right away in with at the moment Mikhail Kaminsky in avatar form, centre left as they come in through the Alpha Jaw squad on your screens at the moment. The 3 riders that are on your screen. Ollie Jones, fantastic sprint for Jones. If we come into the finish and the riders are together, do not discount Ollie Jones for that sprint. He's got his work cut out because there's some really strong riders like Pedersen, like Vink has got a bit of a sprint on it, but he's certainly not in the ballpark of somebody like Ski as well. But Jones definitely a rider to watch. Mikhail Kaminsky will be looking to make this hard all the way through. He's definitely another rider when it comes to the sprint. You can't discount a line over Jasin in here as well, the tactician, I think, for the team here as well. All 3 riders in the group are looking strong at the moment as Bjorn Andresen again goes to the front. 6 watts per kilo from Andresen, really looking to make it tough on these climbs. So it's not the biggest climbs, just in with Jones at the moment, but they are enough to break the group up. Just taking a look in Jones's Pain Cave, it really is a classic. If you had to summarise a rider's Pain Cave, this would pretty much be it. There's sort of frames and there's jerseys, there's wheels, there's bottles, there's shoes all the way across in the background behind. Very typical Pain Cave for a rider in category 1 and 2. Do see them varying depending on whether riders in category 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. As we see our riders spread out at the moment, our leaders spread it out from the 17k marker of category 1 right the way up the road. Category 2, as we said earlier, that leading group with a gap, and the gap has grown. My goodness, has it grown? It's at 23 seconds. So Josh Power, Mr. X100, and Rinosh at the moment. Two riders from the UAE, along with the rider from Great Britain, Power. The three riders leading the race out. 24 seconds back now. 25 seconds to the group there behind. And interestingly, SS just hovering around the front, just disrupting the chase, not putting in the power, goes to the front, then just shuts down the throttle and just eases back and then drifts back through, just looking to break up that chase behind. It's working at the moment. X100, the rider with the yellow bandana, the yellow bike. Rinosh goes alongside him on the right-hand side there. And then the rider at the back here, white helmet with those the white socks, Josh Power, just gets out of the saddle, just moving up. You can see these two groups. There's a long line of riders, all three of them. Long, relatively long. It's there, and you can see them taking turns on the front, really working, all these three riders at the front. Behind, that group sort of balls up, then it spreads out, and then it balls back up again. It's not closing the gap down. It's not coming back, and this is where riders have to do some thinking. Rick, get your brain cells in gear here. How much energy are you going to expend? Is this where you need to push? How much time can you give the three leaders before you actually make a response here and gamble some of that energy? This is what we really love about the racing, because we can look at our riders going, do I put the chase in? Do I put the effort in? Van Erck is there. He's currently up near the front of the chase group, but that gap is 36 seconds. It's going out at the moment because you can just see Josh Power now just coming over this little bit of a rise here. He's leading Rinosh. He's leading X100. Have you made a decision yet, Rick? Have you made the decision? That is the question. To chase or not to chase? He puts his hands in the air. I don't know. It's yes, sir. It's no good chasing as one man either. This is the problem. Rick Van Erck now. This is a good move. Like this. Kick out of the saddle and go to put the bridge across. If they're not going to work with you, why wait for them? And this now has provoked a response because we've seen 7 watts per kilo coming out behind. So has Rick Van Erck lit the match that's going to see the rest of the riders come chasing? Yazbek is on his way as well. What does Van Erck do? Does he now ease back off? Does he set up? Does he? He's stirred up the bunch behind. They're looking to close down Power, Rinosh, and X100. The gap went over 30 seconds. Surely a warning sign to everybody with 3 class riders on the front of the race. Rick Van Erck has come sprinting across. He can see them in front of him at the moment, but he's got some work to do. He's got riders he can use on the way through from other race categories here. But at the moment, he's going to only get fleeting assistance from them. You can just see a little bit of draft there. Now, Van Erck has backed up. He's gone to 4.2 watts per kilo here. He provoked a response, but it's not been enough. Rick, they don't want to do this. You can see Mr. X100 here giving you the spin, make the catch here. Van Erck, we asked him the question. He threw his hands up in the air because he wasn't sure that the chase would come, that he would get any assistance in the catch here. The gap is at 28 seconds in category 2. They are on the descent down. They're now subterranean. They've got to make their way up. It was 10 seconds. It was 20. It went to 36. Van Erck tried to provoke a response. It didn't come from the group behind. And Van Erck once again now at 4.7 watts per kilo, looking to try and get some response from the group he's in. He's in with Yazbek. He's in with SS. He's in with Betty. So 3 leading riders. Josh Power. We got Rinosh. We got Mr. X100 in action on the front. 30 seconds is the gap back to Rick Van Erck, who is tirelessly flogging himself to try and instigate some kind of move here from the group behind. In terms of help, he's getting absolutely diddly squat. There's nothing coming there. There's nothing on its way. And at the moment, He's doing the work. Yazbek, Betty SS are along for the ride at the moment. They've got to close the gap down at some point. Category 2. It is a real fight out there. Now, let's just jump in with Category 6. Christian Kozanski has been on fire today. Here's the Polish rider, has been absolutely dominating this racing. He took the jersey. He took the 5 points at the top of the first climb. At the moment, they're on their way here up the second climb. He's got the gap. Emma,
do you not remember watching him race in Switzerland? He
yes.
is a brilliant climber and he absolutely loves it.
Not only is he a brilliant climber, great tactician as well, because he had 8 seconds over the top of the first climb, but he then cleared the sprint as well to take sprint points. He's here now on the front. He's got Tavares at the moment 26 seconds down. For me, it's a brave move, though. You need a gap coming to the summit, but do you need this much? Because it's a long way from the top. Okay, it's less than 20k, but it's only just less than 20k from the summit to the finish.
Well, it is, but the polka dots do look good on him. I think he is going to make it all the way to the top. There's my first prediction for the men's race, and it's great to be with you, Matt.
It's good to have you. Don't forget, Emma, having already just completed the women's race, joining me here in the studio. You can follow Emma at Biking_Emma on Instagram. You can send a message on there. If you're one of our riders, do get in touch. Don't forget, of course, you can follow me at Matt Fix the Pain. But whilst you're on social media, it is imperative. Do follow at MyWhoosh on social media, on Instagram, or on Facebook. And don't forget, make sure you hit that subscribe button on the YouTube channel. Be notified when we go live each and every time, or on Twitch TV as well. It's been great racing so far, Emma. I know you've been, I'm sure, glued to whatever you've been able to catch up with after the women's race before you made your way in here. Not very long in between the two races to catch up. And I know you'll be watching you get it the wrong way around. I get to watch the start of the women's race live and then watch the rest of it after I've done the men's race, whereas you have to sort of juggle it the backwards way round.
Yeah, I get to see the whole of the women's race, and then I get to see the second half of the men's race.
Do you know what I think is really apt about that is the fact that matches how you read a book. You read the last page first, don't you?
Well, not always, but quite regularly.
Something I would never do.
Well, you know.
It's like seeing the finish before the start. So
yeah, but sometimes you'd like to know what happens at the finish, and then it's working out how they get there, which is the exciting bit.
Well, it's going to be really exciting when you try and watch back this gap opening up between these three riders and the chasers behind them, the work that is or isn't being done to bring them back. Now, 3 leaders in Category 2 on the climb here, coming out from the subterranean world, heading up towards the top. This will take them past the 27k mark as they go up over the top and in towards the climb. At that point, they're going to be fast approaching the halfway mark of the 55 kilometres of today's race route here on Australia on the outer loop at the moment. So the riders in Category 2 on the climb behind Mr. X100, Josh Pat and Renosh. Betty, interestingly moving up through there. Gillo in there, Yozak in there as well. Van Erk in the mix. A real pack of riders on the way up that climb together. The last time we saw these riders together in Category 2, it was the Wollongong Sprint where we had 24 riders basically together. Then that attack went, and that has really made a difference. Really, really has made a difference. Interestingly, X100, Josh Power and Rinosh were in 4th, 5th and 6th positions as they came through the sprint on the Wollongong Sprint.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Because the chase is not off in this Category 2 pack. So whatever gap the 3 leaders have got at the moment, well, the Category 2 pack have not settled.
They've not settled, but it's not a concerted chase. We've seen Rick Van Erk go to the front repeatedly. He's not had a huge amount of assistance. Now, whether that is because people are being canny and are just saving their energy, or whether they're basically on the limit, because it's all very well for Rick to appeal for help and say, come on, guys, let's go after them. But if everybody else is absolutely on their knees and they're struggling, you know, they're out of energy, it's not going to come, isn't that, Hal? It's not going to be forthcoming. And SS isn't going to chase down his teammate. We know he's a consummate road captain.
Yeah, we do. And take a look at this 36-kilometre marker. And Christian Kozanski still out front in category 6, but it's nearly 12%, 45 revs per minute. You can see how hard Kozanski's working at the moment. But he's got a 42-second gap. It's some margin to second place. Third place back 120 at the moment. In fact, there's a group in third. So Kozanski out in 1, Talbarez out in 2, then a chase group for third at the moment in the category 6 race.
I'm just seeing change down in gear. Kozanski got out of the saddle, he kicked it round, but he just changed down on the shifters there, just get a little bit more revs, up to 50 revs per minute. He knows where that summit is. He knows where he's got to get to. The gap has opened. I tell you something here, Kozanski's got to be smart with his energy, because he now needs to think about this. That, for me, is a substantial gap. Do you gamble? And the answer for me is definitely yes, because of the quality of riders behind, and also the size of the group in category 6. I mean, 11 riders. It's not massive. Chasing.
Do you know what? There's a real question here, because Kozanski gets to the top in 1, takes away the overall polka dots, having won both climbs. Job done. But then is there that question around the finish line? There's a long descent and then a flat run to the finish line. But that flat run of around 12 kilometres, there's a big headwind towards the end of this race. Do you go solo?
There is, and in between there is that sprint. So I think you go for it, because you've got the Melbourne sprint coming up. That's halfway almost along once you hit the flatlands. So you've got the descent, which is a tailwind. Go for it. Really build on that. Go in through the sprint, and bear in mind, Kozanski is tied with Järvenham. They've both got 5 points. They both have taken a win in the sprints competition. So Järvenham took the first sprint. He exploded out of the bunch, like we've seen time and time again. He was, we saw basically he was putting down enough energy to light up his fantastic pain cave he's got. Here, Kozanski, who took the second of the sprints after the first climb, he could repeat that here today. He goes underneath the polka dot banner, maximum points. Job done today in terms of climbs for Kozanski. Well done, buddy. That is maximum score. 4 points there for Kozanski. You know, he's clear. He's done that. It's mission accomplished. 2 checkpoint prizes, and he's going to take away the win overall. But now, this is what do you do? And for me, you keep pushing. He's such a strong rider. What's he got to lose? Because there's a chasing group behind. If he makes them work, he's just expending their energy as well here. So, quick breather, quick recovery, get into that descent, really push on.
Interesting. Going to be interesting to see, because, you know, his target could have been the 2 climbs in the overall climb competition, and that could have been, it could now be race over, because that could have been his objective today. We shall wait to see.
I don't care if it was his objective for the entire year. Go for it, buddy. Come on, go, go, go. This is good, definitely. Now, just back in category 2, we've been monitoring the escapees, Mr. X100, Renosh, and Power. The 3 escapees at the moment, that gap has not diminished. In fact, it has increased. Has the group behind waved the white flag, or have they just decided, we're going to go after you, but we're going to wait, and we're going to wait until we get to the climb? The leaders are nearly there. 31.2k begins the climb officially. It's going to come pretty quick. They're going to come around the turns, and they are going to be faced with the ascent. Quick reminder, the Canberra climb. It is a climb of 5.3 kilometres. It climbs at an average gradient of 7.6%, which is deceptive because it's a stepped climb, and you climb 403 metres. Now, Emma, I know you've been out and you've ridden the Canberra climb out there. Pretty sure I've seen you ride the Canberra climb on your Strava feed, because I do stalk loads of people on Strava. I do.
Oh, you've got a better memory than I have.
Well, I am sad like that I remember what people have, race routes and things. It's kind of handy when you do this job. The 3 steps on here, really, for me, they're too short to rest on the Canberra climb. They're not big enough. You can't. A micro rest is almost nothing on there. And I think for me, these three escapees, they've just got to treat that. They've got to almost keep the power on through the flat sections.
I think the issue is are you racing it or are you riding it? If you're riding it, they're perfect opportunities for recovery. If you're racing it, it's a very different matter, particularly if you're racing it with a 40-second gap back to the chase group. And that's what these riders are doing. These riders, well, I think you're going to see some position shifts amongst the three, because the smart rider of these three is going to take as much draft as possible on this climb. So the opportunity on those flat sections is going to be sat third wheel to get as much draft as possible. But they're too short to really take any form of recovery. If your heart rate drops 1 or 2 beats, that's pretty much what you're looking at. You're not going to be looking at massive levels of recovery. If you were just riding the climb. So 2 very different things.
And I think the other thing these three need to be really smart about is actually protecting each other here. Because if you are explosive and you kick too hard here in this 3, you drop the other 2, for what purpose? What purpose does it serve? You might take the checkpoint at the top, but you need all 3 riders at the front if you're going to go through the 55-kilometer mark at the front of the race. If you want to be battling for a top 3 position, you need all 3 riders together all the way pretty much to the finish. You can't shed them. You're not going to solo, I think, a way clear in category 2 from this summit to the finish. It's just too far. There's too much strength in depth. That category 2 group, when they came through the Wollongong sprint, the category 2 group, 25 riders in category 2, that's a lot of what? You had all that together.
Well, it is. But, at the moment, this is really a significant lead. It's going out. We're looking at this. 31.4 is just tripped into the group. They're 300 metres behind. And whilst that might not sound a lot, 300 metres of climbing is actually significant in terms of time. So Betty, Van Erck and Ken on your screens at the moment. Van Erck up and out of the saddle, dancing on those pedals. Betty and Ken sat down at the moment, keeping a watchful eye on what's going on. Well, the watchful eye is it's a 56-second gap up the road. Betty is leading the charge, though, setting a rhythm, setting a pace on the front of the pack. Stuart Miller is there. Nikolai Damsgaard is there. Gorjank is there as well. But at the moment, they are matching on the front here what is being done on the trio that are away. And we've also got to remember now on this climb is that the chase group could well be on a climb. The front 3 could be on a flat, and that will influence trying to compare the powers.
Yep. One word answer to that. Yep. Agree with all that. I could just keep repeating the word yep, but it's probably been very boring listening for everybody. Now, right-hand side of your screen. Interesting front of the race here coming up towards the summit here because we're on Cancio at the moment in category 5 leading. Now, in terms of points, he's leading from Jamie Velez, the rider directly behind him. It was Cancio from Velez, from Hack, Duda, and Arrego at the top of the climb. Duda is in this group chasing behind at 15 seconds. Velez is only a couple of seconds behind Roncancio. And there's still time for that to change, but it is running out. It doesn't look far. It doesn't sound far if I say to you that the summit is 36.5k.
300 metres.
It's only 300 metres, but the problem is 300 metres on a 10.5% climb when you've already been racing for over 36 or so kilometres. And you are battling against those riders in your race category who are very evenly matched to you. It's not a given at all at that stage. And I think that's the thing. You can really, if you go pop on the climb here, on the Canberra climb, it's steep enough that you don't just lose seconds straight away. You're losing a lot of seconds very fast.
Well, interestingly, Josh Power is now on the front of that trio in category 2 and starting to stretch the group. Well, category 5, Velez and Roncancio are together, and that is the polka dot banner. This is the push. They're 23 seconds clear of the chasing group, but Velez now starts to wind it up from behind. He wants to close the gap and go over the top. He's got around 80 metres, but he does. He goes up and over the top of Roncancio. Will Roncancio respond? No, he doesn't.
Rocancio not able to match the first of the climbs. So Jamie Velez goes over the top of this climb in the 4. He's going to take away the points here. He's going to go ahead of Rocancio. Rocancio is going to have the 5 points from the previous climb, but Velez Rocancio going to be tied on points at the top here. Gaviria 20 plus seconds down third place. And that's what I mean about those gaps opening up. There's 11 seconds there.
Yeah, but you know, the
opened in the space of what? 100.
You don't get that, but the thing
meters.
now with the 23-second gap and that battle for the polka dots, I think they're going to sit up now and wait for that group.
Oh yeah, 100%. That would be my tactic. This would not be my tactic. Josh Power on the front, continuing to push. You've got Mr. X100. We know how strong Mr. X100 is when it comes to time trialing. The gap has come down. Yes, it's down at 24 seconds. Yep. Do you worry about that at this stage? You're at 33.2k coverage. You still got about 3k to the summit here. Power, I think, is starting to think we're in danger of being caught if we back off too much. Meanwhile, Mr. X100 is charging onto the back of that pair in front. He wants to make contact on the section where he's at. The group behind Giselle Betty sitting smart in this group at the moment. Not going anywhere too fast, I don't think.
Well, that really would be the tactic now, wouldn't it? Is to stay in that group. And you can see the split in the group. You've got a group at the front and a small gap, and then a second group behind. And, well, there's different tactics here now, isn't there, in terms of this? Betty's leading the charge with SS in that first group. You know, do you try and stay clear of the group behind? In fact, that's, you know, or will they catch you? The gaps now are so important as to whether people can close down gaps on the descent and the flat run in, or whether you've got a big enough gap to stay clear. And this is interesting because Josh Power was on the front going clear. X100 was 3 seconds off the back. X100 now pushing on this part of the climb, coming to the front. Power and Rinosh, the riders behind. So the pace now on the front of the Category 2 race being set by X100.
So with that breakaway established and the gap still holding around about the 40-second mark, let's just bring you a little bit of an update from further out on the course. Category 6 we saw going over the top with Kozanski leading ahead of Tabaris and Montoya. Sensing and Patel clear of a group of basically 6 chasers. Category 5. Category, we saw the run over the top. They've gone clear over the top of the climb. Fellas with the gap to Roncancio, then Gaviria, Duda, Imanov, Pena chasing. So basically 1-1 and a 9. So 2 riders clear, then 9 behind. Category 4. They've gone over the top of the Canberra climb with Thomas Evans leading over the top, 14-second gap in Category 4 for Evans. Similar position that we've seen to some of our leaders, but behind him, 14 seconds back are 13 riders chasing. And that means that he really has got his work cut out as the Irishman on the front of Category 4. Category 3 yet to make the summit of the climb, of the Canberra climb, as are Category 2. It's Category 2 we're in with on our screens at the moment. And we're in with SS, who now is starting to wind up on the front. He's looking to break clear of the group behind. He's got the polka dot skin suit here. And when we came to the top of the Wollongong climb, it was SS from Betty, and then I think
Jakalia, Khan and Rune Bakken.
Yes.
So from the overall climbing competition perspective, SS doesn't need to worry about the 3 riders down the road. The only people, or the only person SS really needs to worry about is Giselle Betty. And the issue is, it's not about what distance SS puts into Betty. It's about whether Betty goes over the line in front of him.
But the gap was 1 point, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
So
Betty has to finish ahead of SS. So SS's job now is to finish ahead of Betty.
At the top of the climb.
At the top of the
climb's
climb.
competition.
Indeed.
To make sure that's secured. SS, no strangers to being at the front of the climb's competition. That is for certain. Okay, in with Giselle Betty. in this battle. 8 seconds a gap. Can Giselle get there? He's chasing the rider in front. The UAE rider in front is SS. Their Mr. X100, that leading group. The gap is coming down, though, and it is coming down quite quickly here. We're not at the summit yet.
No, we've got 2 kilometres nearly to go.
Yes, I mean, there's not a lot of distance in this as well, in between these groups. They can see each other quite clearly now, I'm sure, on the climb. They know where the leaders are. Jan Yazbek riding strong here. Definitely a rider to keep an eye on for the future. Not just in Category 2. I don't think it'll be long before he's into Category 1.
I don't disagree, and we've seen him ride and race really strongly recently. Actually, talking about riding and racing really strong, Category 3 have gone over the top of the Canberra climb as well. That's one rider clear by 13 seconds. Matheus Canna has gone over the top first. Second place goes to Milan Termerton. He goes through in 2. Then a group of 18 riders led by Florian Hanbuscher, Nikhil Kansara, Mitchell Stewart going through in 5th place.
Well, it looks like the pressure is on the front here on Josh Bauer. Behind him is coming SS, and he's coming quick. That gap has really been reduced down here. SS are really exploding out. Meanwhile, Mr. X100 is on the front of the race in Category 2. You can see him on the right-hand side of your screen, sweeping past riders in Category 5. In Category 6, on his way up this climb. Category 4 riders he's catching as well. SS, though, is on that same bed. SS on an absolute mission here to get up to the front. You can see behind Mr. X100, Mr. X100, yellow gloves, yellow bike, yellow bandana. Behind him, Rinosh, black helmet, yellow shoes on in that green jersey. Then it's the polka dot skin suit with the blue bandana and blue shoes, that trademark blue of SS, who's coming up onto Rinosh's wheel. Is Rinosh waiting for him? 3 riders from the UAE, 1, 2, 3 in Category 2 here. How long until Rinosh is taken on by the UAE clan team? That would be a formidable team of 3. Let's see what happens next week.
And the week after.
And the week after that.
Yes, Qualifier 3 next week. It's only Qualifier 2. And X100 at the moment on the front. Renosh, SS now together. Josh Power going back to the group. Currently in the middle between the leading 3, which have switched now. Giselle Betty still on the front of that pack behind. Stuart Miller, Khan Kane, Jan Yazbek keeping him company.
It's been a good day for the UAE squads in Strada Bianchi. I'm not going to tell you how good, but you'll have to watch the racing. I'm going to recommend you, after you've watched the men's race, and then if you haven't already watched the women's race, watch that, and then watch Strada Bianchi. And sleep's overrated. You don't need it. Don't worry about it. I'm kidding. No. Keep yourself safe, keep yourself slightly awake. It's always a bonus, particularly if you're going to do anything like drive a car or anything, but or ride the bike. But definitely one to watch in the forthcoming week before we get to Milan San Remo. Okay, Category 1 on the left-hand side of the screen. Not been there for a little while. We're on a climb. We're in the final climb of the race. Jason Osborne's broken clear. If that sounds familiar, it's because it probably should be.
Well, the world champion in Category 1 does like a long climb. And if you asked him what was his favourite race, he would probably say a really hard hour. But he'd like that to be climbing.
Did you really want the response there? Whilst I was
no, you were
drink?
Just smirking as though what I was saying was true, which probably, it is. X100 at the moment with Renosh and SS in Category 2. Betty, 35 seconds back with Khan Kane, and Bert Kane is now there as well. They're continuing to set a strong rhythm behind, but the gap is not budging because these 3 setting a strong rhythm, an equal rhythm at the front of the race at the moment. They've got 500 metres now till they see the banner. That is the top of the climb. It's still a good run, but I think these 3 are now probably going to work together all the way to the finish.
Oh, surely. I mean, why would you not? There's so much opportunity here for these 3 riders. There's the opportunity at the top of the climb. There's the opportunity to make the racing hard for everybody else on into the descent and into the moment sprint. If it's one rider or two, that's different. You get three together. But Rinosh at the moment just struggling with the pace of the UAE Clan team riders, Mr. X100 and SS. Rinosh now comes back onto the wheels, just pushes on through. He maybe just having just to take a drink on board. It's a long way up this climb. You're expending a lot of energy here. This bush, SS surely is going to be given the points to go over the top with Mr. X100 and Rinosh soaking up the points between SS and Betty, and that should hand that jersey securely to SS, that polka dot skin suit for the climbs. At the moment, this is the run for that climb. Will anybody spoil SS's party at the top here? It's not going to be Mr. X100. Will Rinosh look to challenge? He's not going to get onto the wheels here. It means they're going to go over the top. SS is going to secure 2 out of 2 in the points on the climbs competition. So SS goes through. He takes the 5 points. It's going to be 4 points for Mr. X100, 3 for Rinosh at the moment. They've got the gap at the front of the race, and now it is going to be about how far behind the rest of those riders are, and to some degree, how long till they see Jason Osborne closing them down?
Yeah, because he is motoring. He's 1,000 metres behind them still. But Osborne is clear by 21 seconds of Pedersen, Knudsen, Vyasin, Safrazadi, Tugels and Skierski. They are all still together. But Jason Osborne, the world champion, is not wearing those rainbow stripes at the moment. Well, he is. They're underneath the polka dot skin suit.
It's getting cold.
As he works his way through a group of Category 2 riders. Pedersen's starting to go clear a little bit of the group behind. So Knudsen digging in and pushing on and trying to close that gap down. Interesting moves. Jason Osborne continuing to climb strongly here on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club.
Can I throw something towards you here? And that
But,
is, well, not literally,
Thank
metaphorically. Well, throw your paper airplane if you like. I can do good paper airplanes. In terms of Osborne, Osborne's coming up to the top of this climb here. He's clear of that chase behind that's coming from now Pedersen. If you were to put Pedersen to catch Osborne, and you had Pedersen and Osborne in a sprint together, who's going to win?
You had Pedersen and Osborne in a sprint together?
Yeah, because they're both strong enough to work to stay away.
I think it's the person who wants to win the most, and I think that'll probably be Jason Osborne.
Oh, in a sprint?
Yes.
Against Pedersen?
Yes.
Not a chance.
You think?
Yeah. If it came to a sprint between the two of them. Unless Pedersen was absolutely wiped out by staying with Jason Osborne, which is possible.
Well, you never know. Maybe we'll find out one day.
This is well, yes. I'm not sure it's going to happen today. This is, we're presupposing that Pedersen can make it onto Osborne's wheel, and the two can stay clear to the finish today. You'll have to wait to find out.
Category 2 are up and over the top of the Canberra climb now, and it was SS who went over in 1, taking the 5 points. X100 in 2, Rinosh in 3, Betty in 4, and Jan Yazbek in 5. 43 seconds at the top, separated the top 3 riders with the chase group of 6. A 27-second gap back to single riders on the road. The Category 2 race today has been absolutely decimated.
It has, but interestingly, the sprint competition is still wide open because Kalman's got 5, Kane's got 5, Fournier's got 4, so is Yazbek, so is Gorshang.
Well,
and we've got a sprint coming up in 47.4k, and your 3 riders clear at the front. So it could be we've got another rider on 5 points as well. Meanwhile, Jason Osborne underneath the banner, 2 climbs completed, 2 wins at the front, 2 checkpoint wins. He goes underneath the Canberra climb in 57 minutes, 57.441 of a second. Interestingly, behind him, SS came through leading Category 2 just over the hour mark. So up there, the gap's being closed down. Kanya in Category 3, Evans in Category 4, Velez in Category 5, and Korzanski, as we saw, in Category 6. Seems a long time ago.
Well, I can tell you, Jason Osborne has a 19-second gap on 7 riders. Leonard Tugel, Said Safrazadi, Pavel Skierski, Lionel Vyasin, Michael Knudsen and Mikhail Kaminsky, along with Ollie Jones. Those 7 riders chasing at 19 seconds.
And Niall Pedersen has been distanced.
He has. So he's a further 10 seconds back.
Did he do too much chasing, Osborne, there?
Wow.
Pedersen was chasing Osborne, and then he's gone. And I think it's that you go hard on that climb, you go into the red, you go in there for too long, you pay that price, and you pay it big style.
Well, coming up to the finish at the 55-kilometre mark is Christian Korzanski. Korzanski has kept that gap. It's 49 seconds. It was 45 seconds at the top of the climb. He's holding it and holding it well. So Korzanski in category 6 is at 52.2 kilometres. He's on your screen at the moment, continuing to work strongly on the flatlands now.
So Korzanski, we saw take the polka dot skin suit. We've seen him take now the green skin suit as our sprint winner. He has 10 points. He takes away that sprint competition from Tabares, who's got 7 points in second, at Järvinen with 5 points in third place. That's your podium positions in category 6 in terms of that sprint competition. And also bringing you the sprint competition in category 5 overall. The sprint win going to Eric Lecavre in the win. He has 8 points in total from Jamie Velez in second place with 7, and the third place Diego Navarro tied on points with 5 points with Julio Orrego as well. Category 4 also through the sprint as well, so we can bring you the category 4 sprint overall. Thomas Evans with 12 points. So Evans continuing to push on. We remember he was clear at the front of the top of the climb on his own. Evans with 12 points, Rocker with 7, and Wilson Velada with 6 points. That's in category 4. Category 3, not gone through the Melbourne Sprint yet.
Well, also interestingly, the lead group of 8 riders in category 4, Evans and Velada, both in that leading group, could be an interesting run into the finish line.
I think it's going to be really tasty on the way into that finish. Okay, let's go back to our lone leader. Christian Korzanski really has motored today. He's at 53.3k, so less than 2 kilometres to go, not long until it's only 1.5 kilometres, 1,500 metres. Now continues to tap out the rhythm at the moment, 87 revs per minute. Sort of basically double what we've seen him on that climb as he was pushing that big gear up. He's our leading rider on the road at the moment, bottom right-hand side of your screen. The nearest leader to him is Jamie Velez, who's on the category 5 lead at the moment, just on the big screen. So 19-second gap for him. Just dropping in with the riders in category 2 and category 1 above. Category 2, Mr. X100 at the moment, left chasing Rinosh. Rinosh leading, Mr. X100 in second, and SS in third place. And I think SS is paying the price now for being so strong on those early climbs. He had to work really hard early on, and now he's paying the price. Meanwhile, Rinosh and X100 separated.
Yes, I mean, he did have to close that gap down to make that catch, and like you say, Matt, you know, he really is in recovery mode at the moment. But the question is, the group behind are going to catch him. We're going to have Rinosh and X100 out front. We're going to have Rinosh 11 seconds clear of X100 at the moment, then a gap back to SS, who's coming back into the group, and then once the riders are chasing for third place on that flat run through, well, staying clear is going to be a really difficult job. But let's be realistic. Let's just think, how many riders are actually in that category 2 chase group? You know, that group was 6 riders, was it not, behind those 3? So even if it's swelled, it's still only going to be 7 or 8.
It can still come back. I think the other thing to bear in mind is going to be that Mr. X100 has scored 2 points already in the sprints competition, and he's currently in the run to the sprint. In the run towards the banner, the final banner of the day is Korzanski, Christian Korzanski on the right of your screen at the moment. Remember, he's aiming for 55.00000
500 meters to go.
It's not far to go for a rider really who has excelled here today in category 6. Behind him at the 50-kilometer marker, and that is an indication of the distance between them. Jamie Velez leading the Category 5 race, 19 seconds a gap.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Christian Korzanski has raced 14 Sunday race clubs. He's won the King of the Mountains jersey once before in terms of that overall competition in Switzerland. He's done that again today in terms of that polka dot skin suit competition. So second King of the Mountains jersey win today. Christian Korzanski is heading for his first yellow jersey.
Well, he's going to make it to 3 out of 3 jerseys here today. He's taken the sprint wins. He's been smart about his riding. He has taken away the climbs competition and he sweeps the board to take the win in qualifier race number 2 on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. This man goes into the yellow skin suit. Polish Christian Korzanski taking away the race win here today. What a ride. What a rider. Boy, I'll tell you something, I'm glad I don't race against him. That was impressive.
It was a good race from him. Strong climbing in Category 6. Jamie Velez now trying to go clear in this Category 5 race, but it's just 10 seconds.
It's 10 seconds, but 10 seconds could be enough. It depends on what, I think for me, it's sort of about what's clearly being shown by the we've seen a close look at Category 2. You can be in contention, and in Category 1 you can be in contention, but you just pay the price if you've done so much work early on, and that can cause a problem. Now, right hand side of your screen, you've got the Category 4 leaders at the moment picking up riders en route, and it's actually picked up the Category 5 chase pack at the moment. So Category 4 are catching the Category 5. Now they're going to try and shed them, I suspect, on these rises by putting the power down. Bernard along with Philo, Evans, Rice and co. But Thomas Evans, who has taken the green jersey, has taken the polka dot jersey, has not got a clear lead. And in fact, he's chasing Velez at the moment. That's at the front of the race, with our leaders still to come in. Meanwhile, we're going to drop back in with Category 2. Renosh now has 9 seconds on Mr. X100. Josiah Betty is the chasing rider behind at 5 seconds, and that means he's just about in camera shot behind. Then we've got SS at 9 seconds and the rest of that chasing group. Jason Osborne, though, on the move up to currently at the 45-kilometre marker. So he's motoring his way at the moment through the race fields.
Yeah, he is indeed, and continues to stretch that lead in that Category 1 race. Interestingly, he's got James Krasnich, Joel Lewis, Daniel Mundell on his wheel. The Category 2 chase group, I think it's around 40-50 seconds to the next Category 2 pack. I'm not sure they will stay with Osborne for long. Well, one rider not staying with the pack for long is Josiah Betty. This is an interesting move. So Betty has held his nerve on that climb.
Yep.
You know, the 3 riders went clear. The race wasn't over. Betty is now in the race and he's now caught X100. Rinosh is 8 seconds up the road. Stuart Miller is coming as well as the Cairn brothers. Bert Cairn's just kicked at 14 watts per kilo to close this down because I think they think this is the move.
Well, Bert Cairn is also kicking because he wants the points in the sprint here. He's aware that Rinosh could take the 5 points. Betty could take 4. It means that there'll only be 3 points for Mr. X100, who's got 2 at the moment. That'll give him a total of 5. Bert Cairn has got 5 already. He's looking to take away points here. He's looking to add to his score to take it up to 7. It could be that Bert Cairn is going to go sprint his way into the overall sprint win on the very final sprint, and not by taking the win, but by positioning on his way in towards the line. We've got the riders on their way through the very final sprint in Category 2. It's going to be key, and Bert Cairn has done it. And he comes through. Do you want to go through the result of that sprint, and I'll do the overall?
Yeah, so Renosh picks up 5 points, Betty picks up 4, X100 picks up 3, Bert Cairn picks up 2, and Khan Cairn takes that final point.
And that means that in 5th place in the sprints competition overall is Nicholas Fournier with 4 points, tied with Jan Yazbek and Tevs Gorjank and Josiah Betty. Taking 4th place, jumping into 4th place with 5 points is Rinosh, courtesy of that last sprint. Taking third place in the sprint competition overall in category 2 is Mr. X100. He also has 5 points. So has Lexi Kalman. But Burke Kane has taken 7 points overall with that sprint. Brilliant ride for him. He's done the sprints. Can Kane take the overall?
Well, that's a good question for you. Burke Kane in the green skin suit. They are working together. Rinnosh has pushed on, though, after the sprint. He's sort of played the game that the rest would sit up, and he carried on pushing on. Now the rest of the pack start to pick up the pace. They're on the small climb at the moment, but the gap is around 7 seconds. You know, there's still a significant way to go. There's 6.5 kilometres of racing in that category 2 race as the category 5 rider cheers on the world champion underneath the banner.
I think that was Marius Fossier.
It's brilliant. I love it.
Yeah,
off you go.
Yep, Jason Osborne with the sprint jersey at the moment. He certainly takes the checkpoint there, goes through 1 hour, 9 minutes and 29.590 seconds. His time at that point, averaging to that point 384 watts, which is the equivalent of 5.486 watts per kilo. You can get all of the data on MyWhoosh.com and MyWhoosh info. Congratulations to our last checkpoint winners, Osborne, Rinnosh, Kania, Evans, Velez, and Kozanski. But of course, we have the run for the finish line to come for most of our race winners.
Wow, I'm just doing a wow at the moment because I'm just watching the rest of the riders in category 1 come through that checkpoint, and it's all shuffled again. So Jason Osborne in 1, 21 seconds ahead of a group of 4 riders. It was 19 seconds at the top of the climb, so he's extended it slightly. Michael Knudsen, Leonard Tugels, Ollie Jones and Sai Safrazadi are those 4 riders. There's then an 8-second gap back to Pedersen, who has caught back onto Vujasin, Skirski and Kaminsky. So 29 seconds separating the top 9 riders at the moment, but it has all juggled around as to who's in which group.
Going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. Now, just at our race finish at the moment for the rest of the race categories coming in over the line. Let's round them up for you. Category 6, it was Kozanski from Tabaris, Padsel and Hagen with Nev in 5th place.
Category 5 have come through alongside Category 4 in one major sprint. Giuliano Hack taking the win in Category 5 from Jamie Velez, Julio Arrego, Aaron Skill and Harrison Bailey. 16 up sprint.
Very, very close indeed. Category 4, the race win going to Joao Filo. He comes through over the line. Another sprint finish here today. This time around, though, a little bit more of a spread. So Filo taking 1, Oviedo taking 2, Bernard taking 3 with Velada in 4 and Evans in 5, although he takes the green and the polka dot jersey. Cedric Bernard in 6th with Tweaker in 7th. They were all separated by less than 2 seconds.
Yes, fast and furious finale where you bear in mind those 8 Category 4 riders were in the same group as the 16 Category 5.
So Category 6, 5 and 4 up to the finish. This is Category 3 leading the group. They've got some Category 4 and 5 for company as well who are trying to hitch a lift or hang in the draft. Patrick Karlstrom has got the sprint jersey. We can see that Matthews Kania has got the climbers jersey. They're both in the mix here in the run in towards the finish here in Category 3. And I think for me, this is going to be about Patrick Karlstrom's timing. 800, now 700 meters to go to our race finish. We're in with Karlstrom. Got to be the hot favourite here going in, but he's up against some super fast riders. Termerton can never be discounted for going for a long one. Pony can put down the power. So can Corrales. Heimbusch is in the mix as well. Nickel Kansara. That's a dangerous man to have in the bunch. They've not been able to shed anyone. It's starting to wind. It's starting to pick up the pace here. 400 meters to go. leading riders starting to wind on the front of the group. It's starting to pick up. You can see Karlstrom now starting to put the pace down. He's going at 11 watts per kilo. Just seen 13 watts per kilo, though, coming from Corrales. Karlstrom's on the front here. Can he hold off the rest of the riders? Corrales is holding his back wheel here. He's in the draft. He's going to pop him at the right time. Or is Stewart going to come over the top here? Mitchell Stewart puts the power down. He's gone over the top of Patrick Karlstrom. Their timing is right for Stewart. Cometh the line. Cometh Stewart. Mitchell Stewart takes the win. There he goes in over the line. Karlstrom will have to be content, I think, with second place there today. Stewart comes through, and in fact, Karlstrom is in third place. It's that close.
It is indeed. Mitchell Stewart takes the win. Juan Gallo comes through for second place. Wow, it's like 0.05 of a second. Patrick Karlstrom comes through for third. Nick Alcanzara takes fourth. And Matteo Corrales takes fifth in that 12-rider sprint.
Less than 2 seconds separating the top 12. They're all in and over the line in category 3. Don't forget, you can pick up all of the race results on MyWhoosh.com. Go to the main menu, go to results, and then pick the race you want to see the results from. Don't forget, of course, that they're official when they've got that blue official stamp of approval.
Looks to me like we've got a 9-rider group in category 2.
Yeah, you can wipe out everything that's happened before, apart from the fact it's tied some riders' legs more than others.
Yes.
And psychologically, some riders will be on the up because they've made the catch. Other riders may be on the up because they're thinking, well, we've made them work to make the catch to us. We will see.
9 riders in the leading group in category 2 at the 52.3 kilometre marker. You've got Yazbek, Betty and Khan Kane on your screens at the moment. Rinosh is pushing on this descent at the moment. X100, Jan Yazbek, Giselle Betty, Matthias Fromer in the mix as well as SS, Burke and Khan Kane. There's some strong sprinters in this group, and there are some riders who are going to want to go long.
There certainly is. Just watching them drop down, that's what was in the first climb that we go up on the Wollongong circuit normally. That's a descent going this way round on the outer loop. We then go past where the pens would be on the right hand side and go towards the Vink overpass. That's actually just beyond our finish line here today. So if you can remember the Wollongong course backwards, that's basically where we're heading this direction. Phil Graves, just saw on your screens on the left hand side, the rider who's done the most Sunday race clubs. Distance from the leading group at the moment, chasing behind, but he's got his work cut out because this is a strong group. He's going to need some finessing, aka messing around, for him to get on.
Well, he is. It was around 27 seconds, the gap. And again, another 24 seconds back to the group behind him. With 1.8 kilometres to go, the catch is not going to be made now.
Well, Rick van Aert clearly getting ready for the run for the line of the moment. He's in that second chasing group on this descent down here. He's in good company. You see a polka dot skin suit just in there as well as they make their way down. They're chasing this group, but they're chasing for the minor positions at the moment. Now, interestingly, the group that was just that Rick van Aert was in there, just being caught by Jason Osborne. That's the polka dot jersey in there.
It shows you how much Osborne has been working his way through the Category 2 race.
Certainly has. Now, Van Aert at the moment, 13th position. Jason Osborne just going past him into the number 1 on his back there in that polka dot skin suit on the left-hand side of your screen. The chasers now have the opportunity to jump on
Come on,
board.
Van Aert. You can't resist jumping on the world champion's wheel, can you? And Rick Van Aert doing the business. Boom, straight on that wheel.
And that Netherlands jersey being worn proudly by Rick van Aert at the moment, showing his palmares on by what he's wearing here today. He's got the world champion for company. In fact, the world champion hitching a lift on Rick van Aert's wheel at the moment.
Well, you know, when you can, why not?
I wish I could hang on to any of these riders, to be honest, most of the time on the way to any kind of finish line. So at the moment, the chasing group are working with the world champion here to pull that gap down. Now, you said, Emma, that it was a huge gap, 20-something seconds between Phil Graves and this chasing group, and then it was more seconds in front. But you've got Osborne as part of that group. That could come down quite
true.
quickly.
There's always a little something to shake it all up on the Sunday Race Club.
There certainly is. There is distance between these riders, though. It's currently about 800 metres separating Rick Van Erk's chasing group, who are just about hanging on to Jason Osborne at the moment, because they are on a 0.1% rise, and Osborne is winding it up at the moment.
Category 2, however, are about 300 metres from the finish.
It's going to be close. Let's put it that way. Now, leaders in Category 2, it's going to come down to that sprint. They're going to take the left-hand turn very shortly indeed. They are round it, and Betty is leading this out, but Jan Jasbeck goes over the top. I said, watch out for Jasbeck. Jan Jasbeck going to lead this through. He's going to come through to take this. He's going to be ahead of Bert Kayen and Khan Kayen. Jan Jasbeck takes away the win here on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Job done today for Jan. Well, every now and then I can get those tips right. Jan Jasbeck goes through. He takes that sprint when he was in the right position all the way through the race. Jasbeck in 1, Bert Kayen in 2, Kayen in 3. Rinosh comes through on my screens for a 4th place with Frommer in 5th. Is that right? That is a great result if that's the case for Rinosh.
That is
after
indeed.
That long breakaway.
Yeah, it's just old Betty in 6th, Stuart Miller in 7th, SS in 8th, and X100 in 9th.
Brilliant riding and racing in Category 2 as we see the leader in Category 1. I think everybody wants to outsprint the world champion on the way to line.
But will he play the game?
Come on, Jason, play the game. Just show them what a world champ's made of. He doesn't need to. He's got nothing to prove now. But my goodness me, the world champion has shown today why he is so good. Jason Osborne, world champion, is going to make his way in towards the line. He's just behind Boulanger here as he comes in. He's going to hit the line as winner in Category 1 of the Mountains competition, and taking away the win in the overall. Jason Osborne, world champion, wins once again in Category 1.
And the chase is on, I tell you, for 2nd place, because it looks like Jones, Safrazadi et al. Are all trying to come through for that 2nd place today. But it's the results from Category 2 on your screen at the moment. Category 1 will update shortly once we see a few more of those riders come over the line behind Osborne.
It's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. Jan Jasbeck's win there, that was all about timing. You look down there, it's fractions of a second all the way through to Betty. I mean, you know, Betty at 0.743 down on Jan Jasbeck. Incredible. Super sprint. Very, very tight in Category 2.
Well, Category 1, I can tell you, Jason Osborne came across the line 1 hour, 20 minutes, and boom, there it goes. A little update for you. Ollie Jones winning the sprint from Leonard Tugels and Syed Safrazadi. Then Michael Knudsen, Noel Pedersen, Lionel Vujasin, Pavel Skierski rounding out the top 8.
The full results updating quite literally as we speak, with Michael Kaminsky coming through in 9th place. The full results on mywhoosh.com. Go to the main menu, hit results. Whilst you're online, download the app on iOS, on Android, or on Windows. And don't forget, make sure you go to MyWhoosh Info for all the stats you could ever need, including how to get on board the Cycling Esports League individual time trial into a headwind. My favourite, not.
I'm doing it.
You're a glutton for punishment. That's all I'm going to say. Get out there, get racing.
Enjoy
Whatever you do, enjoy it. Make sure that you follow MyWhoosh at MyWhoosh on Instagram and on Facebook. Follow our fantastic commentary team, both in Arabic and in English. I nearly mixed the two together there. Now, don't forget, of course, you can follow me, Sam Manfix Payne. You can follow Emma at biking_Emma. Do get in touch if you're out and racing and riding. We'd love to see what you've been up to. Make sure you watch the women's race if you haven't already. Make sure that you watch Strade Bianche. Fantastic racing as well. If there isn't enough on already from Emma and myself and all the team behind the scenes at MyWhoosh, stay safe. We'll see you next Sunday for qualifier race number 3. Until then, goodbye.